Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to ChaiNet, the agentic commerce podcast exploring how brands are building in an AI world. Today, we're joined by Ali Syed. He's building a made in India perfume brand called Okami Parfums. So let's directly get to the session. Hi, Ali, how are you?
Harajit.
So let's start, Ali. If you could give a short introduction about you, about Okami.
I'm from the city of Lucknow. I've been living in Delhi for over 10 years. Founder of Okami. Prior to that, my last job was with Asian Development Bank. Before that, I was with the think tank of the Ministry of External Affairs. Worked for the United Nations in Ukraine, studied in Costa Rica. That's like going back in time.
Right.
And now I'm, running a fragrance brand in India, which has been doing exceedingly well.
Amazing.
This is my first full-fledged venture. But if you were to ask me, like, what's the rate of the attempts that you have made in life with entrepreneurship, maybe this is 2.5. This one being the complete one, half one being Super Skin that I tried out in 2021, which was climate action skincare.
What was that? If you could let us know, what was the idea?
Well, the idea was very idealistic. The problem that I was solving was that branded products were too expensive. I wanted to make it more accessible to people who wanted to, and by giving them pharma grade products. Now, pharma grade products have a higher efficiency rate because any pharmaceutical facility is follows the higher standards in order to get the permits.
Right.
And most of the performance grade skincare is you would have a variant of it in with a pharma brand. So the idea was, the app is going to do a diagnosis of your skin type based on your climate conditions because climate plays a major role. If you're in a humid setup, then you need a certain kind of skincare regimen. If you are in a, let's say, a hot, a temperate zone, then it's going to be a different kind of regimen.
Right.
So based on your climate conditions, we come up with a systematic regimen, and with that, the sales part comes in where we recommend you pharma grade products which are at half price the cost. So imagine marrying Tata 1mg with Nykaa.
With Nike. Right. And what was your learnings from that? Why do you think that did not work? And then how did you use that learning in Okami?
No learnings have
No.
applied with Okami because that clearly that it didn't work out well. On a very serious note, I think in modern times, besides having a great product, you need to have a certain amount of capital in order to launch it and sustain it for a long-term period.
Right.
With Okami, the product turned out to be so good. I took insane amount of time, sat with multiple perfumers, studied how Japan would come up with its own perfumery. There is Indian perfumery, there is French perfumery, there is Middle Eastern perfumery. And being a fan of Isimiyaki, I realized that, Japanese fragrances, be it Kenzo, be it Shinmaya, be it Isimiyaki, are slightly different. They are slightly muted. They are not loud because it's not part of the Japanese culture. And that's how Okami came about in terms of its product development.
Right.
The learnings from Super Skin, was there any interlinkage between the two? No, I don't think so. I wish there could have been some. Yeah.
No, I think, as you said, right, that the product should speak for itself. And that's what you did with Okami, that you don't have to, and yeah, like market, like you need a certain amount of capital, yes, but if the product is speaking for itself, then that amount gets reduced so that you can bootstrap it.
Yeah. Consumers will hunt you down if you have a good product.
Right. Right. Maybe. And what do you think of the Indian perfume market? We've had Attars, we've had so many things, but there's no Indian perfume brand which can compete with a Kenzo, for example.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Why do you think there's still such a big gap? Is it the manufacturing? Is it the market?
So first of all, we Indians have now learned about storytelling. One of the biggest examples of that would be Forest Essential.
Right.
Like we are pretty early in that stage. I mean, we were not able to market our own products till date. Like Indian carpets go all over the world, but you hear about Persian rugs, whereas India is one of the biggest exporter of carpets coming from Uttar Pradesh, Badoi. But you don't hear about them. Finally, we are learning the art of storytelling, and hopefully in near future you will be having brands coming out of India. Forget about global scale. There are not even any Indian brands that are national, famous on the national level. Ajmal has done it to a great extent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ajmal is
in
actually
the last 5-10 years, and with them also, I feel it's like someone. It's like a repatriative branding. They went to the Middle East, they got very famous, and then because India has a massive diaspora that goes to West
right.
Asia, coming back. That's how I think, realizing that, oh, it's coming out of India. That's how it became a brand.
Mm. So, do you think India does not have a manufacturing problem as such when it comes to fragrances? It's more of the branding and storytelling side.
Yeah,
Mm.
perfumes are not very hard to manufacture. It's
Mm.
it's a filling component that's a main
Mhm.
part.
Mhm.
The biggest challenge you're going to find is to come up with the right kind of juice. So
Mm.
you have to hire a perfumer, because perfume making is not what you find on the airports, that I'm going to make you this and that.
Right.
It's not that simple. I mean, it's going to
Mm.
go flat after some time.
Mm.
In order to study perfumery, you need a STEM background. You need
Mm.
to have a background in science,
Right.
because you have to study it at the molecular level. Grass Institute of Perfumery is known in the world for it,
Correct.
and you have to hire the right kind of people who understands fragrance at the molecular level, what's going to go with what, because the DNA of the perfume is such that the fragrance oils hold on to each other. So when you hear the top note, the middle note, the heart note, or the base note, you have to know one thing: everything goes in together. Then the signs come: what's going to pop out on the
Mm.
top, what's
Mm.
going to come out later, what's going to come out right at the base.
Mm.
So it's a very scientific
It's a
process.
mixture of science and art. Art
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
need to have that nose, you need to
Oh yeah.
understand that,
Oh,
what will people like, and
you know
then
what Jo Malone does?
no.
She imagines. So her perfumes are linked to a lot of her memories growing up. So she would imagine how it would be when her father would be coming back after a rainy London evening, and
Mhm.
the smell of a raincoat, and brushing his raincoat across the lavender fields.
Right.
And that's how she imagines her perfumes and creates it. And
Mm.
now we know Joe Malone as a story,
Right.
one of the key formulator for Sarah
Mm.
and for Joe Malone as a
Mm.
brand.
So with Okami, when you started, what was the first aha moment that okay, I might have something over here. This is bigger than Super Skin. This is bigger than my UN work, bigger than my policy work. This is something which I would want to dedicate my
Uh,
next few years.
Honestly, the first micro aha moment happened when I was constantly coming up with these ideas of what's going to go in the packaging. And I remember, like, just suddenly, having this moment where I'm like, there needs to be a butter paper inside the box. And then I, got the butter papers printed, and but there was no team. It was just me working all by myself, and I was
Right.
loving the process,
Hmm.
because I'm not very good at managing a different set of people. And I remember, getting it printed and going to see a friend. It was kept at the back of my car, and he turns around and asks me, "Well, what's this?" I show him the butter paper, and then I ask him, "Do you feel that something good is coming out of it?" Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
Right.
that was the first micro aha moment.
Hmm.
And when the product came out, like so I think once you really, Rachit, once you really put your heart and soul, once
Hmm.
you touch everything, like one thing that I keep telling people, anyone, whoever thinks that I'm wise enough to give them any advice,
Hmm.
probably dumb enough to think I can give them any advice. Like, I always tell them to shut down your social media or any kind of influences. You have to build it from the first principles. It has to be original. The
Hmm.
inspiration of the box came from a Japanese chocolate box that was gifted to my former boss by some Japanese delegation that came to
Oh.
the
Hmm.
office. I go to see her. I see this box lying on the table. I send one of her little birds to go and get the box for me. And I have the box, and I still have the box with me. I was like, this is it. So you're going to find inspiration not over the phone, not over social media, but over I think there's a certain kind of activation that happens.
Right. Hmm.
And once you are constantly in that, that mill of like consuming this, like, this is have this brand is doing this brand is doing this, there's, this is the kind of atomizer they are using. it's just going to be an analysis paralysis. First principle, less is more than enough. And you keep on building on it. And then you can finally come up with a great product. I've never heard anyone complaining about, like, I've had consumers, one or two reviews where people have said that they don't like the fragrance because it's just not their style. Maybe it's not the component. But they've always doubled down and said, I love the packaging. I love the thoughtfulness that goes behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about consumers. Who's your target audience right now?
Second time users, people who have already been using perfumes for a long time. Okami is not an introductory product for them. They've always the kind of people, because there's a certain kind of barrier that we have in order to access us. We don't do sampling. We don't even do small bottles. We do 70 mls. That's it.
Right.
And so you need to know your notes. I know Marine Accord. So I know what and I know that I pick it for the day. I know when I'm going to go for a beach vacation, what kind of fragrance I want. I know when I'm out there wearing a kurta pajama, what kind of notes do I like. It has to need to have a slightly floral undertone to it. And I know what I'm going to wear for a night or when I want to make a statement. And a lot of people who are collectors, we get a lot of collectors actually. Yeah.
Right.
So a lot of our buyers are people who understand कि इसमें क्या आने वाला है. So we don't get demands for samples as well.
But what is there what's thought behind not having samples?
Yeah, the idea is very simple, that we are catering to an audience that understand fragrances, and we are going to build on top of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're not a brand who would want to introduce.
I mean, I would love to. I mean, if we build some, if we become that, that trendy that someone wants to begin with us,
Right.
you will fall in love with perfumes. It's not going to be good for you. It's going to be very bad for your pocket. But I mean, our ideal consumer is people who have been using perfumes for a long time.
Right. And how do you reach that consumer today?
I think a lot of that has to be done through your first point of contact, which is the website. So your website needs to be, like, it's a slightly nerdy website that we have. There is a fragrance profile page
Correct.
which has a graph that gives you longevity to fragrance note, what shade of clothes you are going to try your product or your perfume with, what season, what weather, what moment. And people who have been perfume users, they know that they're not going to wear a marine perfume at night. They know that they are going to wear a dense fragrance probably at night, or probably when they are there for a board meeting or something very, very powerful. And people find their way.
Right. Yeah, and there's Yoru is called the night.
Yeah, it got featured in Vogue, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what's the story behind these 4 perfumes today?
So Okami means great deity in the Japanese kanji script. And then we kind of linked it to the elements. So I imagined, like, 4 moods, 4 elements. What are the 4 elements? It's the name. This is part of a series, by the way. Okami is a brand name. Then it's followed by a series which is called the Elementals. These are part of the Elementals series. And then in the elements, you have the 4 key elements. You have the ocean, you have the sun, you have the wind, and you have the night. So that's what completes your entire, your gamut of your perfume wearing.
Right.
You have to understand that perfume is the final touch of you getting ready for something. That's why you wear a fragrance, you wear clothes, you wear perfumes.
Correct.
So we give you an opportunity to wear something fresh via the ocean, something tropical, very, very meadowy, very, very shrubby. We have the wind, very elevating, very morning. We have the sun, and the night is the night. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think the sun is my favorite one. And I think I'm not a perfume nerd, so I like wearing it around the clock.
You don't have to be a perfume nerd. You just need to know what is working for you at what point in time. And that's it. You just need to be someone who's like, it's not about being nerd. It's about someone who completes their getting ready by ending it with wearing a perfume or not. That's all you need.
So when you're building this, like, for example, you have a thought that, okay, this is something which I would want, right? What's the process behind? Like, how do you how do you end up with this specific fragrance for this specific element, I would say?
So I obviously had it in my mind because I've been using perfumes for a
Right.
very long time. But for the normal audience, I tried to keep it very descriptive over our page. So all the marketing that we do is not linked to notes, but to moments and occasions because that is what makes sense.
Right.
If I just say lavender, a lot of people in India might not know, or maybe around the world, might not remember what lavender smells like. I
Right.
mean, rose, maybe yes, but even musk, no. I mean, even with only for a very limited number of flowers, you know what, you
Correct.
would have the recall value of what they
True.
smell like.
True.
So you would have to link it to the oceans, or
Something
the
more generic which
occasions
people
and
would.
the moments. Yeah.
Right.
So Asahi the sun, this is our morning fragrance. K is the wind, is our day fragrance. Also can go at night. This does very well over retail. Pepper and musky, it has a very spicy undertone to it. And even the notes that we have mentioned in our branding are from a very educative perspective that people can have a recall
Have a
value
recall
of.
value.
Of vanilla, passion fruit, amberwood, sea accord, just to make it more easy for them. And then you can always try and then, not help yourself from buying it.
Absolutely. And your launch went really well. I think you got
Yeah.
you got early attention.
Yeah.
And you got everything got sold out, and you created a hype. So what do you think? Like,
I didn't create the hype.
the hype.
It was purely accident. And that
How
was
did
the
that happen?
best
How did
part
that
about
happen?
it.
What would you give
So
the biggest credit?
it was just like the pure generosity of the person who found us, and
Right.
her generosity of going out so public with it. Harnit Kaur, shout out to Harnit. She just basically 18th of August decides, finds out about Okami, writes this massive Substack page, talks about perfumes. I read that page. I made some comments. Now, I don't even know her. Like we were part of a similar WhatsApp group. I didn't know her personally. I met her a couple of months back when I was actually returning from Delhi. She was coming to Lucknow from Bombay for her book launch. That was the first time I met her. Very humble human being, and anyway, so she finds out about Okami through a WhatsApp group. She orders the entire
All four of
all
them.
four of them.
Right.
Gets delivered, tweets about it,
Right.
and that tweet just blows up. Like 2,500 people bookmarked that tweet. Like we got 7 lakhs in sale in a single day.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is August.
This is when you're just starting.
This is when it just started. Like the baby just came out of the womb. That's
Right.
it.
Right.
And it's like just having a major day under the sun where the website is being visited. We were supposed to be a retail project, by the way. That's how it started. And just like, kept on growing, and then it was over her Instagram.
Right.
And then she does another tweet where like top 5 Indian fragrances. And then the story doesn't stop there. So there was this Harnit moment that happened that lasted from August to, let's say, August 18 to September. Luck also plays a major role. Work goes in. You only get lucky when you worked hard enough, I feel. And then, I have this, I live in Nizamuddin East in Delhi, and I have this buyer from Nizamuddin East in Delhi who's constantly making purchases of Yoru the Night. Like every week I get this 5 orders of Yoru the Night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, for some reason.
Right. And this is the same person who's every week he's buying
same
4,
human being.
5
Yeah, is just
pieces.
buying. I don't know the person.
Right.
I write to this person. Gentleman doesn't respond. I thought of, messaging him would be slightly too invasive because, being a brand owner, I had access to their information,
Right.
their phone numbers. So I checked them over Instagram and probably wrote to them over Instagram. And I had, by this time, because this person was just living right next to my house, I had seen that they had I knew where they were living as well. So I again reached out.
Right.
This person, then they got back. Turns out he's like a Professor Sanjay Bakshi. Shout out to Professor Sanjay Bakshi as well. Turns out he's like a major influential figure over Twitter again, like a value real estate investor.
Right.
And he's like, so just very like, the kind of people who are just like, yeah, I'm going to help you with this. Like, why not? I love the product. I'm going to help you with this. So we meet in the neighborhood. And then 2nd of October, Professor Bakshi tweets about Okami again. And it just blows up. So from August to December, mid-December, we did zero performance. Like we had no business manager.
Right.
And thanks to Professor Bakshi and Harnit, we did more than 20 lakhs in sales.
Wow. With
Or
zero,
with zero
market.
with no ads manager,
Right.
no ads manager.
Right.
And I think that was just gave such a VCs reached out to us. We had so much of information about people buying, people loving. So
Right.
the product market fit, like what could be better product market fit validation exercise? Nothing like it.
Right.
And then we were just so confident we got into the performance marketing game and we just started, outperforming. I did get an idea before as well once we started retailing because this was, as I said, this was supposed to be a
Right.
retail project. So we were over not over some, we were over many kiosks across the country. The margins didn't work out for us.
Right.
Therefore, we couldn't. And it was a great offer. It was by one of my mentors, seniors, Mayank Bateja, who has been a very successful entrepreneur, very young entrepreneur. And they gave me access. That's why, he helped me build this in terms of sales.
Right.
You build this, I have a sales channel. And that's why it was supposed to be a retail project. And once we got over retail, we were just like outperforming every single brand that was spending crores over marketing. So I knew that,
There is
this,
something.
yeah, so when I knew that this book was being judged by its cover. And that was a very important point for me.
Right.
Okay. And then,
Right.
then Harnit thing happened. So this was the first point of validation where it's outselling everyone over retail. Then the Harnit tweet, then the Professor Bakshi tweet,
Right.
and then over performance marketing. And then the biggest point of validation started coming when we started having considerable, spent over performance marketing without running any campaign. Like
Right.
we have a policy, we are not going to bother our customers. Either the product is good enough, you're going to come back to us, or you don't come back to us. Like the
Right.
product has to do all the work. And we have over 17% recurring customer
Wow.
rate.
Superb.
Yeah. And now we have realized we are going to bother our customers. We are going to run campaigns.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's always, even if the product speaks for itself, it's always like slight bothering is usually okay.
Like एक
But
message.
yes,
I think
unless and until you're not spamming them every day.
No, that's never going to be the idea. That's not even the budget for us.
Right.
The idea is it's something good.
Correct.
Let it go out to as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. And overall, what has been your hardest part in building Okami? Because the story is right now, it looks very nice and you're shouting out to a lot of people, and that also shows it how humble you are, and how that shows on your personality. But I'm sure it's not a bed of roses. Right? It's not always that, okay, you launch a product and someone's like Harnett or someone found the product and they tweeted it. I'm sure there's a lot going on in the back end, right? Like there's things are going wrong, things are falling apart.
Yeah.
So take us to the back end of all of this.
Yeah.
You're processing 7 lakh orders in a day. You're processing 20 lakhs of orders while you've started. There's retail happening. Take us to the back end. What's been difficult?
Yeah. So the other word for entrepreneurship is dealing with the friction.
Right.
And of course, there's friction. There's friction with turnaround time for getting the product ready. There's friction with the costing of the product.
Right.
There's friction that we face in terms of getting the dispatch to what kind of warehouse we are getting. The biggest friction that I face is with, I think, which every D2C brand faces more or less, is with maybe pilferage. And I think it's not a friction. It just like annoys me because I'm maybe middle-aged man, but I'm still very idealistic about life. I'm like, why are you going to whack my product? And that happens. So that's one thing that really annoys me.
So when you say pilferage, what kind of
Like
pilferage?
during delivery, like a delivery partner just like like whacks the product. So that's the only mental hardship that I face. Like because I'm like, I'm paying you money. You have to play by the rules which are there. Like you get the money, you take the product from A to B, and it's not that big, but the kind of impact that it has over me, that kind of
It's frustrating that
it's frustrating. I know I can't fix it. I will make peace with it very soon because it's just going because this is the it's just part of the entire process. So eventually, it's just going to be a number.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But right now, that's something annoying.
Right. Yeah. So overall, what do you want Okami to be in the next 5 years?
They are going to be in the next 5 years. I think there will be 2 to 3 Indian brands that will be coming that will have a natural recall to them. Okami is going to be one of them. It has already shown all the signs of what a brand turns out to be. That was always my philosophy, that I am launching a product, not a brand. The Janta will decide, will give the verdict whether it's brand or not. Now the response that we have gotten, the verdict is there. That it is a brand. I get like messages like of love, man. The product is great. People just taking out time to write out to me, like how loving the product is over Instagram. The funny thing is, we still haven't started our social media. Like we have serviced more, or we have probably served 4 times more orders than the number of followers we have over Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah. Like no attention over social media whatsoever. One of the reasons for that is we still haven't found the right kind of partners. But that tells you volumes about कि product पे ज़्यादा ध्यान देने की ज़रूरत है, besides all the other things that people get themselves distracted with. Yeah.
That's I think that's true till a certain point, but it's very surprising that that you've been able to do that, because a lot of founder gyan which we get, right, is कि अच्छा product is just one part of the game, and then there's social media and this and that. But yeah, in your case, it has actually been able to drive all of that. So if
No, I don't agree, man. And that's the reason I don't even listen. And thankfully, coming back to what I said about turning off or just minimizing your social media and not consuming any of the gyan, we lose our ability to actually question things when we listen to someone through a screen. We think that that's the truth. It's not the truth at all. Product plays a massive role. I keep on hearing people like, "Aap samples nahi, how are people going to, without smelling, they're going to buy?"
Correct.
Well, people order from Zomato all the time without tasting the food.
Right.
Yeah. It's more problematic, actually. If you think of it, we don't know what's there in the kitchen. You're literally consuming it.
Right.
So don't tell me that, you can tell me anything, but I am going to question and say, कि भाई Zomato से तो मतलब, and that's probably a lot of people, the basket size over Zomato is probably the cost of a perfume itself right now. Food has gotten so expensive.
Yes.
So I'm like, why not? You give the right kind of information and let people decide.
Wow. That's very, very interesting. And this is, I think, not a lot of people follow this. But yeah, but you're right. Like if your product can speak for itself, then you do not need everything which is around.
Yeah.
Just build the best product and then let people let the waves,
100%.
let the waves decide.
You don't have to be blind to marketing or PR and promotion. That's part of the game. You have to enjoy doing it.
Right.
But you just can't be focusing on the front without having just an average, back end. Isko chala de. It will only run to a certain extent. Eventually, it will break down.
Right.
You have to really tighten the screws of your entire vehicle before you make it ply the road.
Fair. Amazing, Ali. This has been amazing. Now we have a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So the first part would be a situation, and you have to tell me that which of these fragrances fit best for that situation. So if someone is on their first date.
First date during the day, date night, maybe
the night.
Maybe for a lady it could be Case, and for a guy it can be Yoru. Yeah.
Investor meeting.
Yoru.
Monday morning after bad sleep.
Asahi.
A Goa trip with friends.
Case and Umi.
Meeting your ex by accident.
Yoru.
Working late alone and feeling like the main character.
That's a good one. Yeah. I think if you're working by yourself, I think Asahi.
Asahi.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's very uplifting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why that's my
Mm, mm,
favorite as
mm,
well.
mm.
Amazing. So now we'll talk about some brands and fragrances. So there'll be a question you can mention what brand or fragrance.
Mm.
So give me one perfume brand that you respect.
I think Issey Miyake does a great job.
And give me an Indian perfume brand that you respect other than Okami.
Honestly, two brands that are doing extremely well in my opinion. I
Mhm.
think I'm going to be placeholder with these two. One is Contraband. Their perfumes are very good, by the way. I think they have hired one of the best perfumers.
Wow.
And the other one comes from my city, Lucknow,
Mhm.
Naso. They are doing great products. Yeah.
Right. Amazing. And give me one smell that reminds you of childhood.
Kebab parathe.
Of course, all of us, right? Give me a smell that's in perfumes but you hate.
One thing that I'm like really, I didn't realize that there is a fragrance oil that I'm allergic to. I never knew that.
Mhm.
Actually
Oh,
never knew that I have a certain kind of an allergy that can make me sick. I was like, Rachit, when you're trying, like you have to try, like you get hordes of perfumes.
of course,
When you work
yes. Right.
with a
I'm sure you're
perfumer,
getting, like hundreds of
yeah,
samples
and you
and
can't do it in a single day, huh? You can do
mm,
maximum three because your nose gets
mm,
completely blind. Like
right,
you will
right.
not be able to
Can't you smell
distinguish.
coffee beans and then get back like what you get on those
No, no,
in
no.
the retail shop?
That also works for 2, 3. I think sage or cedar wood. And I was with the printer and I just did my testing. So this is what I would do in order to squeeze more in a day and cut time. So I would gym jaane se pehle I would do the test. And these
Mm,
tests are like you get it from the perfumer, you
right.
have it over your cabinet, you try, you make your points, then you leave it over a fragrance strip, you smell it, you come back to in order to check the longevity, you apply it over
Mm,
your clothes and see how it evolves over you.
mm,
And I think it was cedarwood or green sage or something like that. And I applied it. I went to the printing guy. I had to get some stuff printed, some Okami related.
mhm,
And then suddenly I'm like getting feverish.
mm,
I'm very feverish.
mm,
And my tonsils are also getting all like, worked up.
mm.
And then I realized that there
You're
is, yeah.
allergic
And
to
then
it.
that allergy was constantly like, it's like popping up in my head again with
Mm,
that fragrance smell. Like, I don't
right.
want to smell that again.
Mm,
And then I got a temperature, and
just because of perfume
yeah,
and just
yeah,
because of
yeah, a
something.
fragrance, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. So, last question. What do you think is the next smell that you want to bottle? Which would be the fifth element?
Yeah, we are bottling something amazing. I am very excited for it.
Mm.
We are bottling a citrusy ocean fragrance.
Oh, wow. So,
Yeah,
isn't
very citrusy.
Umi
Umi
ocean?
Umi has like probably 2% citrusy. This is like
Okay.
50% citrusy
Oh,
and like very very oceany.
hmm.
It's come out very well. So what we did was with the first 1,000 buyers that we had, we ran a campaign. We selected these three perfumes. We already have a series in mind.
Right.
The series is called Origins.
Mm-hmm.
There are three perfumes. One is green tea and matcha.
Wow.
One is
Much.
one is very leathery with saffron. It's a sweeter version of yoru.
Hmm?
It's a dark fragrance, and one is a version of umi. So we sent it to those 1,000 buyers free of cost, and
Mm,
we sent them a Google form so that they can evaluate.
right.
Yeah, so people just gave it full marks. So
Nice.
we know.
Wow.
Yeah, lifetime testing, and it's a good way to connect with your audience as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
and
yeah.
show a
Of
certain kind of
course.
sincerity as well.
Right.
So
And you're talking to your customer, you know what
I
they
talk to my
want.
customers all the time, Rajat.
Mm,
I think that there is no. So I realized it very early on that during the journey of a founder, I will only get this period where I will be able to touch upon everything, and then
mm,
I will be knowing कि courier bag 75 micron का होना चाहिए, 10
mm,
by 12 का होना चाहिए,
mm,
honeycomb का size 225. So I made the best use of my almost first 10, 11 months taking all
mm.
customer calls. Like
Right.
now I know कि the day you receive all the orders at night, one has to check
Mm,
because you will have out of those 100 orders, 2 to 3 customers who will be writing back to you saying, "Oh, I sent you the wrong address."
right.
So these things you can only learn,
Mm.
in the beginning.
In the
I feel,
beginning.
yeah,
Mm. And then they'll write emails, and then you need to make sure that the
yeah, yeah,
process is
yeah,
fine, that
yeah,
someone's reading those emails, and then,
yeah.
yeah, wonderful,
Mm,
wonderful.
mm,
Now, for a founder who's, let's say, a first time founder or
mm,
someone who's in the D2C space, trying to understand, trying to build a product, be it in the perfume space or not, what do you think goes into building a product that people want?
First of all, I think there should be a sense of honesty with the founder itself. I
Mm-hmm.
find like I have at times like I feel with some retail collaborations I
Mm-hmm.
experience, not just like the insincerity of brand owners towards their consumers. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they're not thinking like 20 products of the same shape, size, just like thrown at the consumer. It doesn't go from the perspective of when I'm going to be a consumer, what's going to make my life easy in picking that product.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's totally up to the consumer. And I think you need to have that consumer lens. I would always tell this, I still tell this to my marketing team that I remember before becoming a business owner, I was also a consumer. So I know this is not going to work because as a consumer, I'm not going to buy it. If I'm not going to pick it as a consumer, then why should I expect someone else to pick it?
Mm-hmm.
So the first principles, very important, very overused, but I don't know how much, whether it's really in use or not. One has to focus on originality. In order to have that originality, you would have to sit with your product for some time. Like if I can share some of the things which may not be an advice, but the process that I followed. Abhi, we started giving this, someone asked us to give us these small vials.
Like samples
Like
or
3 ml
something.
samples पे retail पे है because
Right.
they said people wanna, it's a very upmarket store, so they said, all right, we're gonna do it. It's a good retail place. I took at least 3 to 4 days just to pick on the right kind of
While.
vial.
Hmm.
And I just kept it on my table and I had this in mind. Whatever is not going to hurt my eye after a day or two is going to make it. And the results were completely contrast to what I thought. There was a choice. The choice was only between two bottles. One had a black cap, one had a white cap. The first one, I was completely against the white cap because it just looked so pharmaceutical. And by the end, it was the white cap that I went.
Right.
And then when I asked a lot of people around me, they said that they liked the white cap more than
The black one.
so you would have to sit like, and a lot of it also has to do your sincerity again towards the development phase. Like I would just keep when I was picking the bottle, I would just keep the bottle, out there, just to make it part of my room, like co-inhabit the bottle. Is it going to bother me or not? Is it something that is good looking to look at?
Right.
Yes or no? And that I think was a great process when I look back in time. Like even the fonting and
Right.
everything, the sizing, the resizing. So one has to get, if one wants to develop a product, let's say, if you want to make a dry oils are basically
Right.
moisturizer, which are in
Right.
the oil form. The only reason that I still haven't found a good enough compelling reason to launch it, a scented version of a dry oil, is because my thing is, you ideally use a dry oil after a shower. Okay. And I still haven't found the right kind of bottle that is going to protect it from the dripping. Because I know few drops are going to drip. It's going to get all smudged around the bottle. And that's going to soil your clothes. So the product experience, the outer experience, it's all getting ruined. It's all getting too oily.
Right, right, right.
So you
I
have
think
to,
for all that happens for all moisturizers and all these
yeah, like,
creams, right?
yeah,
Then
throw
it
about
starts to drip, it starts dripping, and then it's around the cap, and then
so you
right.
have to, in order to build a great product, you have to see that now imagine that the product has been created. Now you have to live with that product. That product has to go. Now, like for instance, we launched with 100 ml bottles because those bottles look very good.
Right.
Right. And now we are cutting down on the bottle size to 70 ml. Not because of the volume of the product. That at the filling stage, it's not going to cost for
Cost a
anything.
lot.
It's because जब आपके carry on then the 100 ml bottle is causing problem and the 70 ml is not
Will
going to
not.
cause problem.
70 ml is the limit for carry on, is that?
100 ml is the limit, but the bottle is too heavy, so the people are like,
so
नहीं,
they
100 ml है, के ऊपर है. Yeah. So you have to,
interesting.
yeah, you have to go in a kind of a post product development phase and kind
Right.
of live with that product. And then you have to probably reverse engineer and see कि जब ये बन जाए, friction create karega, nahi karega, how it's going to work.
Right, right, correct. And what do you think are the mistakes that founders make when they're launching their own product?
I mean, I'm not going to judge whether someone is making a mistake or not, but I'm just going to say the kind of products I would never use are the products that have been just blatantly copied. Just because something worked out doesn't make it ordinary to just use it around, right? It worked once. And I see it all the time. And I think that is what is stopping the India story from going global. In fact, the India story, this is not even going to be part of India A story because India A is super international.
Right,
India A has your access to all the Louis
correct.
Vuittons and
Right.
all your Bulgaris and all your Armani. You're
Hmm.
not going to pick products that have been, just copied from someone else. So if you can't even get coming out of India, if you can't tap into India A, then there is a problem.
Then you can't go. Then you cannot think of going
No,
global.
no, you
Hmm.
can't. आप अपने वाले इंटरनेशनल को पा रहे हो तो आप असली इंटरनेशनल को कैसे
कैसे कर? Correct, correct. But what about what about I would say tier two cities and your upper middle class and your middle class? What do you think if you're building for them, or maybe like a mass premium product, right? Which is good. It's good quality, but it's also value for money. So in that case, what do you think? What do you think goes wrong with founders when they're
I
building?
think the same mistake that Tata made with Nano, right? Just rub it too much in their face that this is for the middle class. Like you can be a middle class, but you don't have to make like something like just so you middle class लोग हैं. Like
Right.
you can't be having a demarcation that is so visibly based on economic disparity. Still have to, you have to like maybe this is for tier two, but even tier two deserves something nice.
Right, right. Hmm. But imagine a company like Tata making such a big mistake, and then but then we can learn from that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you see people making that kind of mistake all the time. Like
Right.
just rubbing it in like I think people sometimes their sales strategy and the marketing strategy, like there is no filter between the two. Like there has to be a conversion ratio, right? Like the sales strategy is tier two mein bechna hai. This is the elevation.
Right, right.
Yeah, this is
Aspirational
and
should
I
be
mean this is a
aspirational at the end.
graduation for you.
Right.
And I see it in perfumes. Like we never go on discounts because you don't have to. Give something good. Don't be desperate.
Right.
Perfume is a prestige buy at the end of the day. It's not a utility item.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you would buy it for looking good,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
to make sure that you're presentable.
It's the final touch.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. Correct. And you're talking about going global, right? Like
Mhm.
you said that okay, first you have to appeal to India A, and then you move
Mm.
to a global audience. Do you plan to take Okami global?
If Okami can go global, then I would love to.
And what's your strategy for that? How would you achieve that in the next 2 to 3 years?
So there is one thing that I'm going to be working on the diversification of SKUs. It doesn't have to be limited to perfumes itself. They are 2, 3 very diverse product linked to perfumes, scents that we have in mind. And mind you, they are not candles. So that we will be launching. And once we have that in place and we work it out, then we are going to be something that's going to be, that I'd probably aspire to go international with.
Right.
Are there any Indian brands that are going international besides Indie Vibe? Who made a very public opening into Sephora?
I don't think I've not seen a lot of Indian brands going international yet. As you said, like Naso, for example, they're in a couple of stores, but I think that's about it.
Okay.
But otherwise, I don't think there are a lot of Indian brands which are going.
Yeah, like
international.
going international.
Yeah.
Yeah, none.
But why do you think the gap still exists?
Like something like what Body Shop is in India.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't find that,
You
right?
don't find that. Yeah. Is Kama international?
I'm sure, but again, like the benchmark is Body Shop.
Right.
I don't think to that extent someone has gone international. And I mean, it's tragic, right? Like Fab India, something that is so truly Indian, was started by a half American, half Indian guy.
Right.
Maybe we need to, work on our Indian story. I mean, this might be slightly controversial, but I feel Nirav Modi was taking all the right steps to take his empire international, intertwining the right kind of story.
Right.
something fishy going on with his bank accounts.
Right, right,
Maybe we could
right.
have given him a little more chance. But what's stopping us from going international? I think A, you definitely need the capital for it. You
Correct.
need
Of course.
the
Yeah.
American mindset, patient
Right.
capital to go international.
Mm.
And B, you need to have that kind of storytelling. And what do I
Correct.
mean by storytelling? Storytelling is something, you know, few buzzwords that you can constantly fall back onto.
Mm.
Like for us, it's precision, it's quality, it's minimalism. That's it. So you keep
Right.
on falling back to it.
And then you make that your values, and then
Yeah,
you build on top of that. And
yeah,
every product
yeah,
should then speak
yeah,
of that.
yeah,
That sounds easy, but it's not that easy. It's not always like, because you can have a lot of ideas, and it might not. You have to say no a lot. Every yes is also like 10 no's, because
yeah.
and that's what I think, that's what is
No, you have
hard
to
for
be
us.
very clear with your
Very
perimeter.
clear with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Like,
can't be going like a lot of times. Like when I spoke to some of the people who were interested in pouring some capital into the company,
mm-hmm.
they asked me for a discovery set or for a samples. So my
Right.
question, they would ask me, why are you not doing it? And I would go, ask them back, like, why do you want to do it? Their response was always so mundane. I was like, I'm not going to work with these people. It's like,
Mm.
because X and X is doing, and these are the numbers that they're getting. I'm like,
Mm.
I am not doing it, and these are the numbers that I'm getting.
Mm.
My,
Right.
my goal is to optimize on these numbers. Is it
Mm.
impossible? No.
Mm.
Is it hard? I don't know. We haven't gone that far. But our no is very clear that there's a certain kind of audience that we are catering to.
Right.
That audience understands without the process of sampling.
Mm.
So we are going to keep on talking to that audience because that's
Correct.
also a large enough audience.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on fundraising? Like, do you want to you're bootstrapped, you're
Mm.
profitable, right? A lot of companies itself need to go for funding because they're either not profitable, or they're burning a lot more which what they can handle. What are your thoughts? You want to build it?
If we the VC community may have received a lot of bad PR in the recent few years, but I'm of the opinion if you get the right kind of partners, it can definitely be it, an elevation point for you.
Mm.
So if we find the right kind of partners, I would be very happy to join someone who understands the value of precision,
Mm.
someone who understands the value of delivering authentic products,
Mm.
and I'm of the opinion that VCs make money, founders make brand. If we can have that intermarriage between the two,
Right.
I'm good to go. But right now, my goal is to turn this into something long term, like really long term, a
Right.
brand. And money is coming in. It will come in larger volumes. I mean,
Mhm.
it's good enough for me right now, but
Mm.
maybe it's going to be good enough for a village very soon.
Right. 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 Amazing. So, Ali, it's a very interesting conversation, and I think Okami is doing very, very well, and something
Correct.
very different, which is not, which we've
Yeah.
not seen before. You're bootstrapped, running profitably with an amazing product. The product is speaking for itself.
I'm going to
Where all
surprise you
can
more
people?
next time
Definitely.
with the SKU
Oh,
diversification that's under
lovely,
the work.
lovely. We'll.
You would be surprised.
Wow. We will wait for that. For our viewers, where all can they find?
Find us over our website. You can Google just Okami Parfums. You'll find us. Our website is okami.life. And over Instagram, we are okami.parfums again. It's PARFUMS.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ali. And for our viewers, that is Ali Syed. He's the founder of Okami Parfums. Amazing. Thank you, guys. And this was ChaiNet, and I was Rachit Magan, your host. Until next time.